Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another of these incredibly huge Dino Valley sets from Chap Mei. This might be the biggest one that we've had so far as the box and everything goes. We have the Dino Barricade Break, and this definitely looks to be another really fun one, specifically the T-Rex that we can see there. Kind of peeking out of the opening of the packaging looks crazy cool. He definitely has that vintage Chap Mei feel, but just in general a vintage dinosaur look, which if you know me, you know I love my old school dinos, so definitely excited to see that one once we break it out of the packaging. But you can also see over here kind of an image showing off what we have going on with the set, kind of giving us a nice sneak peek, and then some really cool artwork over here to the right. And if we move the box and turn it around very carefully, because again it is gigantic, definitely one of the biggest boxes I've seen for a Chap Mei set. Push that back there to give you a nice shot of it, and then turn the light apparently because it's really drowning that out. You can now see again that we've got a shot over here to the bottom left of some really cool artwork from Chap Mei, something we've seen on the last two sets as well. And then in the upper right hand corner you can see another preview of everything that we have contained in this set. So let's pop this box open and check it out. Okay, so I've only had a few moments to kind of assemble this set and everything, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this set is pretty darn awesome. The entire, giant gate system we have here is really fun. Not to mention, look at the super cool kind of, T-Rex that's etched into the stone there on the front. That entire thing is just really neat to me. There's also some nice playability to the set. The T-Rex is insanely cool, on top of having kind of sort of kind of a modern take. I mean, I don't really want to say really a modern take. It also at the same time has an awesome vintage feel to it, and is almost a throwback to old school Chap Mei with the paint scheme, because it's very similar to the older Chap Mei T-Rex when it comes to the coloration. On top of that, we've got a really cool dirt bike included here, and the human figure that is included is a massive upgrade over the older ones, if you ask me, and also sports some upgraded articulation compared to the other ones. And I've just noticed all of this stuff just here, pulling everything out of the box, which there was quite a bit to kind of pull out here. But again, to really show you all of this stuff, we're going to go ahead and jump straight to a closer look and check it all out from there. So because the gate area is so massive, we're going to go over that first to try to get through it so we can kind of move it out of here to get to the other stuff. But one of the most fun aspects, in my opinion, is the fact that straight away up here on the top, you've got the Dino Valley logo. This was a sticker that was included in the packaging. You have to put it on, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way I got it on. I'm normally really bad at putting stickers on. That one went on okay, but you can see the logo looks very vibrant and just, in my opinion, almost sets the tone for the entire set as a whole. But then as you move down, I love this part, this little area here with that T-Rex kind of popping out again. It's not just kind of etched into it, it's kind of it pops out of the, it doesn't actually remove, but I mean pops out of the background there, and it looks really, really cool. I definitely am a massive fan of that. But on top of that, you also have carvings into it. As you can see, we've got a really neat pterosaur over here, and you can see the texturing to the gates themselves. It's also really nice, definitely has that kind of stone sort of feel to it. There's also kind of these vines that kind of lead down. The vines aren't painted obviously, but they do look really cool. Definitely add a little bit of extra to the scene and to the set, and would be really neat to actually paint out. You can see the vines kind of run down here as you lead down toward the actual gate itself. And as you continue to move down, you can see that the vines and everything lead down. We've also got another kind of a stone carving down here with another dinosaur. I guess that one would be maybe a sauropod. Over here on the other side, you can see that we've got some scratch marks, so that's not their first run-in with the dinosaur, obviously, as something has tried to get in previously. As you move up, you've got more of those vines. You even have some leaves coming off of the vines right there. And as you continue to move up, you do have a little button here or not even a button, kind of like a knob where you would turn it to open the gate, which we will do eventually. And then you can see again more of that as we lead up as far as the vines and everything. Then over here you've got a little kind of a balcony where you can stand out with one of your human figures. You also have a danger sign as you move down, obviously a warning sign, and then as you move down further you have more stone, but obviously this is colored very differently from what we have over here. You can see more of the vines and leaves and stuff as you lead along. A little area here that kind of opens up so you can kind of have one of your human figures maybe hiding in there. A little more vegetation as well once you move down to the very bottom, and it almost looks like we've got these out here, so I don't know if it connects to other Chap Mei sets, but it definitely seems like it would. And then you have almost the same thing again over here, or at least the same style, where you've got some more vegetation stuff as you lead up. Again, some more vines and everything leading along. And then you also have this little area once you reach the top, which almost is similar to like a crane sort of an effect. And you can kind of move it around to position it however you would want. And then you've also got the net that hangs off of here. So you can, you know, catch yourself a dinosaur, put it in the net, and then hang it on here, which one more needs to come up here to hang on there. And there you go. You can capture your dinosaur and basically hang him on there. So that's really cool as well. Definitely a really neat set, and a really neat addition to this set. Almost has like a King Kong sort of a feel to it. But as you move around to the back and you actually look back here, you can see that you have even more back here. You've got more extras as far as like some controls on the inside here. To the gate, you can also see the inside of the gate itself. As you lead up here, you've got like some piping that moves through, which is really cool. And obviously we can see the inside here to the wheel. As you move down, you've got some more stuff over here on the other side. And you've also got this little area for your human being, I guess, to stand on to operate the controls. So the inside is honestly almost as cool as the outside when it comes to these super cool gates. Then when it comes to all the other cool stuff included, first of all, you have all of the classic extras that you often get with Chap Mei, like flashlights and binoculars, cameras, stuff like that. And we also have a human figure. We have two, actually, but one of which is this guy, which I think he was actually just in one of the other sets that I recently reviewed. So one that does tend to make an appearance quite often in these sets. And since I have gone over him very recently, I don't feel like we need to take a closer look at him again. But there's also this guy. Now, this guy is definitely a new one that I have not seen previously from Chap Mei. And boy, did they ever do a great job on him. First of all, his entire color scheme he has going on here is super jungle-like and really neat looking. Definitely very flashy. And as you can see, as you move through the course of the figure, not only is he extremely highly detailed, but they went above and beyond to paint this guy out. You can see everything, like the knife as well as the holder for the knife is painted out. His little area here kind of moving along like I don't even know what exactly would be on there. I'm not sure what that would be. Almost looks like teeth or something like that, but that's painted out. And you can obviously see we've got stuff painted out over here. His belt buckle is painted, and then we have this really neat design as we move down through the course of his pants. You can see all kinds of wrinkles and everything to the clothes as you move through. And definitely, again, an absolutely stellar sculpt with really, really nice paint for something like this. But his articulation is even more advanced than what you usually get for Chap Mei, because first of all, we have the articulation in the neck. That is something that's pretty common. But we've got really nice, very smooth arm articulation. Now, if you go and take this guy, which is like the classic Chap Mei human being we've had a lot, you can see we've got the ability to move the arm up and down, and that's really about it. It doesn't come out away from the body. There's no elbow articulation. Whereas with this one, you can see we can go forward and back. We can also come out away from the body, and we have elbow articulation. So definitely a lot as far as the posability aspect with this guy compared to the other one. And that doesn't end. As you move down, you've got, again, the hip articulation. And just like with the arms, where on the other guy you didn't have elbow articulation, you don't have knee articulation normally on the Chap Mei human beings, but now we do. So definitely a very cool, very advanced amount of articulation for what you normally get for Chap Mei. So that human being is fantastic. On top of that, we've got a really cool Dino Valley dirt bike. You can see we've got the Dino Valley logo on it. Really neat green coloration for the dirt bike. The wheels move beautifully. You can see they are really, really smooth. You also have a kickstand, which you can put down and then again pick back up. And then you have the ability to steer steer the dirt bike as well, which it doesn't actually steer it. It's just, you can turn it to kind of pretend you're steering it if you are playing with the set. And the dirt bike itself is also really well done when it comes to a detailing standpoint. So definitely a neat addition for sure. And I don't recall getting a dirt bike previously in one of these sets. I may have, and I may just not remember it, but I feel like something this nice I probably would have remembered. Regardless, it's really cool. We've also got some of these guys, which is pretty common to have some random smaller dinosaurs included. This time around, we have the Dilophosaurus, which they do have a larger version of this Dilophosaurus out that does sport some articulation and sound, and a totally different appearance as far as the coloration goes. But this time we have a totally stagnant version, still sporting really nice looking skin texture and scale detail and everything, as well as a pretty cool looking paint scheme. I feel like we have had him previously, though, in one of these sets. I know we recently had the Carnotaurus and Spinosaurus in the Spinosaurus set. Now we have the Dilophosaurus, and then this guy, which I'm always confused as to whether or not this one's meant to be a raptor, or if it's like an Allosaurus, or what it is exactly, but it is a pretty cool looking figure, and again, similar to the Dilophosaurus, we don't have any articulation or anything, just a stagnant pose for it, and obviously a lot smaller than the standard version of this that you find when it comes to the articulated version in the Chap Mei sets, and also again a dark gray with some blue patterning moving through. So definitely a pretty fun addition as far as that accessory goes, but the T-Rex here is absolutely spectacular, if you ask me. I am so hyped about this T-Rex. First of all, the color scheme is, again, like I said, it's like an ode to the old school Chap Mei because it's very similar, but at the same time a little different than the old Chap Mei T-Rex, which was a very popular figure in its time. But on top of that, you've got, again, this super vintage kind of look to the head sculpt and the entire body overall. You also have really vibrant skin texture to it, and you can see we have a glass eye for the T-Rex with a really nice greenish tone and a black pupil. The eye does light up, I believe, which is also really fun. We have an articulated jaw, but if I move it, it's going to get the sounds and everything going, so we don't want to mess with that quite yet. You can see the teeth are painted with a really bright white. Again, coloration galore here on the faces. You have the red tone, you have this kind of like light sort of a I guess you could call it like a light yellow or a tan that sort of stripes and designs through. You've got black spotting everywhere. You also have black up here on the top. Again, more of that light tone moving through. As you move down through the course of the Rex, you can see the detail is a little muted up here along the kind of almost armored look to the back of the dinosaur. But as you move down, you have, again, kind of like that, I say it often, but almost classic Chap Mei style skin texture, where they just have their own unique look to the way that they sculpt out their dinosaurs. As you move down, you can see muscle definition in the arm. The skin, as you lead out through the course of the arm toward the hands, looks pretty good. You have some scoots running down the fingers. The nails are not painted, unfortunately, but that is something that is pretty common when it comes to Chap Mei as well. And as you continue to lead down, you can see a little area, almost like some slits, like injuries here in the stomach region for the T-Rex, which is different than a lot of the more recent Chap Mei figures where they always have like that injury button where you press it and that's how you activate the action features. This time we just have some injuries here that I guess are here to kind of let out the noise, but they're disguised as injuries, so definitely a nice idea as far as that goes. Again, very kind of rough and rugged looking skin texture to our T-Rex. As you move down, you can see that we've got the musculature here in the thigh nicely sculpted, the knee as well as the calf. And then you move down into the foot sculpt. You have some scoots moving down the toes. Again, the nails are not painted, but they do look pretty cool. And again, the overall appearance of this also just screams Chap Mei. And then as you lead out, you can see the coloration does end before we get to the tail, but we actually have some okay looking length for the tail, which is something that, again, is something you don't always see from Chap Mei. It's not a massive tail, but it's at least got some decent length to it as you move out. And as we turn it around, you can see pretty much the same thing from this side, of course, except for the fact that we now have some screw holes on this side. Again, something very common with the Chap Mei brand, but the paint scheme, the design as you move through does look really cool. The sculpt looks really cool, and again, definitely has that super vintage look to it as far as a T-Rex goes. So I'm pretty excited to kind of show off the lighting effect of the eyes. Not that it's absolutely amazing, but it does come with some really cool sounds, which I have actually already heard. So let's go ahead and check that out. Now we do have the lights kind of dimmed because I'd like to kind of show off how the eye lights up. But let's go ahead and do the action feature. So first of all, you can see how the eye lit up. It looked really cool. You can also hear kind of like a chomping action feature. Now, normally, when you get a Chap Mei dinosaur, lately anyway, not even just lately, for a long time, we've had just that same sort of old school dinosaur roar, which I do like that roar because it has such an old school vibe to it. But this time, we do actually have extra noises, which you can clearly see was a chomping feature, and you can see how the mouth kind of moves with the action feature. Let's go ahead and do it again. Now that is a crazy cool old school dinosaur roar. That's the type of noise I would have expected to have heard from a dinosaur in a film anywhere from like the 1950s to like the 1980s even. Like you always had that kind of super old school dinosaur roar like that. So let's go ahead and do those again. And there you can see, again, another really cool sound effect for this T-Rex. Totally different, so we now have 3 different sounds for the T-Rex. I think that might be all of them. Let's go ahead and do it again. Yep, so now we're back to that kind of chomping feature. So those sound effects are definitely really cool. And on top of that, if we turn the lights back on here and we move this back out a little bit, you can see that if you want to have that sort of tripod pose for the T-Rex, you can definitely, you know, the T-Rex's tail is going to touch, so it's not going to really drag on the ground, but you can get the T-Rex standing in more of an upright position. Or, of course, you can articulate it down into a more natural position for the figure. Of course, you do have the articulated legs, which you can move a little bit. Not super impressive articulation in that area, but it does move a little bit. And then you also have the articulations in the arm. And actually, I can't do that. Oh, it's going to make the noise again. Can't do it from the other side. There you go. You can see you don't have a whole lot of mobility, but you do have a little bit. And you could also see how the jaw worked before. This arm does move. And we're going to get a noise out of it again. But the movement of this arm is part of the action feature, as we can clearly see. And then as far as this goes, again, we already saw that we can move this around and stuff, but you do have this little wheel here that you can use to completely open the gate, and then again, turn it the opposite way to then close the gate. So even that is really cool. Definitely, again, so much fun playability to this set. This is absolutely one of my favorite Chap Mei sets that have come along in quite some time. As far as sizes go, you can see that the human figures are similar in size, but the newer one is definitely a little bit taller. So for a height on him, you're looking at over 4 inches, heading toward 4 1/4, but not quite, or right around 10.5 centimeters for the human figure. As far as the gait goes, for a height, you are looking at around 11.5 inches, or about 32.5 centimeters to the top, again, of the super cool gate. As far as the T-Rex, since we're in this position, height-wise for the T-Rex, and of course this would be dependent on the way you position it, because you could make it go up taller if you want to position it that way. But when it's standing in, again, a nice natural spot, you're looking at about 9 3/4 inches, or right around 24.5 centimeters. And then for a length on the T-Rex, you're looking at about 18.5 inches, or right around 47 centimeters for a size comparison. So I didn't bring in everything from this set. I basically just brought in a few of the parts that I feel like we would need comparisons for, one of which would be the human figure next to a Mattel figure. You can see the Chap Mei human is a bit taller than your average Mattel human figure. You can also see what the Dilophosaurus is like over there next to the smaller Dilophosaurus in this set. You can see that the Dilophosaurus. The smaller accessory dinosaurs in this set are definitely a little bit smaller than even an attack pack, and that shows you that they are pretty small overall. We also have the Collect A human being in here next to the T-Rex, but you can see Mr. Papo T-Rex here next to the Chap Mei T-Rex, obviously showing that the Chap Mei Rex is a lot larger. I don't think anybody's too interested in the gaits or anything as far as a comparison goes, but the one comparison that I really did want to show off in this review would be when old meets new, because we have the older version of the Chap Mei T-Rex next to the newer version of the Chap Mei T-Rex. And again, these are the two that I feel like look very similar to each other, so almost like a tribute to the older T-Rex with the newer one here. And you can see they are definitely similar looking, but also quite a bit different overall when it comes to the appearance. So again, not too far off as far as the size goes, though. The newer one, though, is definitely a little bit larger than the older Chap Mei T-Rex. And just in case you wanted to see a comparison with this T-Rex and a Mattel T-Rex, we have the Extreme Damage, aka Extreme Chompin size range T-Rex from Mattel, next to our Chap Mei version, which you can see the Chap Mei T-Rex is quite a bit larger than the Mattel Tyrannosaurus. So this set is honestly awesome. Like, it is so cool, and definitely one of my favorite sets to come from Chap Mei in quite some time. I think the human figures are really nice. They're always very high quality when it comes to the human figures in Chap Mei sets, but these ones, specifically the newer, more articulated version, is even more high quality than I usually anticipate from a Chap Mei set. So the human figure is really well done. Both of them really are, but the newer one is really well done and definitely sports some very nice, very smooth articulation on top of fantastic paint apps and sculpting. On top of that, we also have a dirt bike for him, which is really cool looking. I love the coloration of it, nice and vibrant. I love the Dino Valley logo on it, and it sports some nice, very smooth playability on top of everything with the dirt bike. We have the extras as far as like the, the binoculars and everything, but that's something you get quite often with Chap Mei sets, as they always include so much with their sets, making sure you get a lot of bang for your buck. You also have the smaller dinosaurs, which those ones are really cool, especially the Dilophosaurus. I think that's probably one of my favorites when it comes to these smaller, non-articulated dinosaur accessories that Chap Mei includes. I really quite like that Dilophosaurus, and again, nothing overly impressive when it comes to the paint apps, but they're still pretty cool. You have the gate, which is fantastic, definitely a very cool piece to add to any diorama, and of course a piece that would be great for any kid that loves dinosaurs. They would have tons and tons of fun playing with that, and again, if you are into dino toy photography and stuff like that, it's a great addition to any set. And if you had a little bit of painting skill under your belt and you wanted to add a little extra paint apps like painting out the vines and stuff, I could imagine that could look really, really cool, very impressive. So definitely a fun set on top of everything with, again, a lot of playability to the gate itself as well as all the extras around it. And then you have the T-Rex, and the T-Rex, like I said, is really cool because it has that, kind of like a throwback to the old school Chap Mei T-Rex, which I really love. On top of that, though, and on top of the very striking appearance we have when it comes to the sculpt and paint apps, we also have the really cool sounds, which I really love the newer sounds from this T-Rex. I think it's cool that Chap Mei finally updated the sound effects of their dinosaur, and on top of that, they now include 3 sound effects on this T-Rex, as well as a light up eye, which looks really cool, and definitely, again, it's very vibrant when it lights up, so definitely neat as far as that goes. And as a whole, the entire set is fantastic, if you ask me. Something, again, I'm just so excited about this. It's a really neat set from Chap Mei. I almost dismissed it, like, as far as being like one of my lesser interesting sets that I recently acquired, as I got these 3 new sets from Chap Mei just recently, and this is the one that I kind of put off the longest as far as reviewing, and now I don't understand why, because it turns out it's probably my favorite out of all of them. So if you are interested in this, you can head to your local Dollar General, you can head to Family Dollar or Big Lots, because all of those stores stock the Chap Mei line. I think I recently had seen this set on Amazon as well, so I'm going to have to go ahead and look for it, and if I can find it, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it on there as well. One way or another, I absolutely recommend picking this set up, so if you are interested, make sure you do that. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.